We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's time to get into formation. We gotta get ready for the battle. So call on your brothers and sisters. We gotta turn back to the scriptures. Stop making it all about you. Them preachers, they got it confused. Come out of her. Cause Yahuwah is our deliverer. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed, cause nobody's perfect. We're called by his name. We're called by his name. Seek him to be worthy. We should be coming together. There's power in unity. It's time to come into the order, cause we are a living prophecy. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. Lace up them boots. We gotta move step mode, put on camouflage. We gotta be wise. Open your eyes to the most high in the skies. We must stop arguing, it's irrelevant. We must live in the Torah, it's heaven sent. He will put it in your heart, fulfilling the word of the new covenant. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed, cause nobody's perfect. We're called by his name. We're called by his name. Seek him to be worthy. We should be coming together. There's power in unity. It's time to come into the order, cause we are a living prophecy. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. Kumbaya, 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 kumbaya.
Come by here, y'all. The time is an essence. They hear it in our message. You have revealed to us the blessing that comes after the testing. Todah, y'all. Todah, y'all. We are waiting on the Exodus, praying for the rest of us. It shall be greater than the first, for the captivity is the worst. Come by here, y'all. You are our strong tower, for we know not the hour. You are our power. Our enemies you devour. Come by here, y'all. In a time of darkness, the world is heartless. Missing kids on carton. Who would have thought this? Come by here, y'all. You are in control. You got the nations on hold. The wicked must fold. The story is told from the times of old. Yaakov got next. You can find us in the text. We're the apple of your eye. And our God don't lie.
See why your stuff be
they desire to consume us,
like
but we did not die. Come by here, y'all. Come by here, y'all. Come by here, y'all. It's what we cry. You're the Elohim of our Father. From on high. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Save your people.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Please save your people. Save your people. Please save your people. We cry to you. Yeah. Please save your people. about to go down, down. Really going down. It's about to go down, down. We the people. Shema. Israel. We the people. Shema, Shema. Israel. We the people. Shema. Israel. We the people. Shema, Shema. Israel. We the people. Shema. Israel. We the people. Shema, Shema. Israel. We the people. Shema. Israel. We the people. Shema, Shema. Israel. We the people of the book. I stay humble, I ain't even boasting. I'm just here telling you facts. No more secret, it's gotta be spoken. We out here living a lie. 3/5, but they say that we equal. So put your hands up in the sky. Represent for the chosen people. Melanin, yeah, we got a lot of it. I can see the fear in them when they look at it. Lacking understanding, cause it's their nature. They don't fear God, but concerned about some glaciers. They always wanna justify, define themselves not guilty. Pride so puffed up high, living in iniquity. We the people. Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Shema, Israel. We the people that they took. I stay humble, I will not be shaken. My people is starting to wake up. Their mind scrambling, need a shake up. They rewriting history, whitewashing images, forgery. It's all a conspiracy, crafted counsel from our enemies. They stole our identities, done away with our heritage. Had us working in the fields, broken, we can't get no settlement. So cruel, they took it too far on them people that resemble Kadar. Perpetually, they really hate us, but we quickly coming out of our haters. We the people. Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Shema, Israel.
Shouts out to my people, miserable to straight hallelujahs. 400 years, better let it move ya. Messiah coming, better let it soothe ya. Whoever knew we would be great. On the slave ships, we were stowaways. Never made sense that we were throwaways, but it makes sense we hit fadeaways. Swish. We serving the ultimate power. The most high, get them hands high. His son in the ultimate hour. Same people eating that manna. Know we gotta get that bread. In the raised lines, carry no manners. It's the truth now, Lord, in my head. Ironic, we grew up in wars. Projects, boroughs, and the ghettos. Between us, there's always a war. Check out Kings and the Chronicles. Brothers overseas, same movie. Escape out of Mizraim. Worship and praise out of our cage. Dancing is all in our dreams.
Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Israel, we the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we the people. It's really going down. We the people. It's about to go down. We the people. It's really going down. We the people. It's about to go down, down.
Shalom,
really
y'all.
going
Shalom,
down.
shalom. It is Michael Israel. You're watching Spiritual Combat.
It's really going
And as you can see, we got a heavy show today. As you can see, I brought backup in. I brought some more of our special forces, spiritual combat soldiers. I got my man Ach Malachi. Shalom, Malachi.
Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom.
Yeah, man, it's good to have you on the show today. It's gonna be a real informative show. I wanna tell y'all this, man. I already had this show planned out earlier this week, and confirmation, even this is after I had planned to do this show. I got a call from a brother, you know, just dealing with this type of situation. And, you know, it's just confirmation that this is something that needs to be spoken on. And that thing that needs to be spoken on is frustration. Okay. And I purposely put those words in that order: frustration, abuse, and then violence in relationships. Okay. And it's a cycle. It follows a cycle of first you get frustrated, and then it begins to turn into abuse, whether verbally or physical, and then it results in violence and in our relationships. And we're gonna, like we always do, we're not gonna leave any meat on the bone. We're gonna get it all off. We're not gonna leave any gray areas, and we're gonna provide simple, straightforward, biblical solutions to these issues that are the elephant in the room in the Black community, in the Christian community, in the Hebrew Israelite community, whatever you want to call it. They're the elephant in the room. I see brothers who are so-called, you know, high up teachers and stuff struggling with frustration in their relationships, abuse, violence, all that stuff. So we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna smash right into this thing. And the way I want it to start, and hold on one second. Okay, there we go. But yeah, the way I want it to go into this thing is I'm gonna kind of start broadly. One of the things that we need to begin to see, that even I have to remind myself from time to time, is across the Hebraic community, you have, the best way I could kind of categorize it is more street level, One West camp Hebrew Israelites, and then you have more church-based, congregationally based Hebrew Israelites, church brews, whatever you want to call it. And what I realize is this thing is a body. Okay, there is no way that a camp street style Hebrew is going to really be effective winning somebody out of church deception, which is more emotionally based or whatever. And vice versa. You're not going to get a congregational, hold on, got something popped up. You're not going to get a congregationally based church Hebrew to win one of these brothers off the streets, who, you know, these people, the brothers, our brothers that are in these ghettos and in these streets, they're in war zones. They're wrestling with death on a daily basis, threats. It's warfare. So you're not going to get them to do that type of job. So it's a body, and I'm beginning to see there's a lot of division with these different, you know, congregations and stuff like that. But I'm beginning to realize that they are both effectively serving a purpose. And real fast, I wanted to pull up Ezekiel 37 and just talk about that real briefly. Is this whole chapter is about how we're going to wake up. It's not just going to be a quick, hey, we're asleep, boom, we wake up. You know, it's a process. It's a process. And the bones have to find their way together. You know, the bones is all scattered all over the place. Each bone, you're not going to put a finger bone to a thigh bone. It just ain't gonna work. But a foot bone, you know, for lack of a better word, but a foot bone can go to a leg bone. You see what I'm saying? And that we need to be patient with the process and understand that that's the process. and I'm gonna do a whole show on this very soon. I'm gonna have some special guests on to drive this point home, but I just wanted to hit on that real briefly, and also hit on the fact that across the board, Camp One West Street Hebrew Israelites, all the way to congregationally based church Hebrew Israelites that kind of win more people out of churches than off the streets. Both this issue of violence and frustration and abuse in the relationships is across the board.
That's
and
right,
the family is the building block of our nation. So this thing is not really gonna move forward as a nation till we get that. What do you think about that, Bob?
That's right. You said a strong word, and you went to the prophet Ezekiel, and that's actually what's going on in this process. These bones are being put together. They don't even have flesh over them, so they're not covered. So they're still exposed to the elements, right? So therefore, we as a people, we understand that we are the people now, but being that we have to go through this change or this process of waiting, it can become a time of anger. And that's what Ephesians chapter 4 is talking about, because it's going to start back with our home. You know, everything begins in your home with relations, you know. So we have to first get rid of the frustration. I think a lot of the frustration is coming through enduring the weight, you know, the weight gain. You know, even when you go to certain establishments, right? We have to wait. It's a waiting. It's a waiting. It's a list. It's waiting. You have to sit down. You have to wait. So if you go to Ephesians chapter 4,
Okay.
verse 26 and 27, this is what Shaul dealt with concerning anger. And I heard you speak on that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Frustration and anger is the same thing. And, you know, that's what we see in a lot of relationships, because when the man sees who he is as a people, he's going to transfer this to his wife, you know. And in this waiting, it can become a wrath can come upon the house, you know, because it becomes an urge or a tendency to be first and not last anymore. But as you said earlier, Ezekiel 37 specifically tells us that these bones are literally dead, right? And they have no life in them.
Right.
So we start here in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26. It says, "Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Neither give place to the devil," right? So in this process of this awakening, when homes are being restored, we have to be aware or be mindful of giving a foothold for the devil, because the devil wants us to be impatient, bringing a wrath on ourselves, biting each other heads off, right? Knowing that you are up next, and it begins in our home. So what the devil wants to do is to bring a spirit of overzealous, right? Being overzealous, not understanding that things are by the spirit. It's not by power, not by might, but it's by the spirit. And with this, it brings anger and it brings a wrath even upon our children.
Okay.
So with that, I think that's the beginning of the evolution or the awakening, that we first understand, don't give place for the devil. And that comes through anger or frustration. Okay. Go ahead, Art.
And that was a good. I like what Ach Malachi brought out. And we're gonna get in deep on it, because this verse is heavy. But we're gonna read it to where we get the proper understanding on it, and it doesn't you're not sitting there fighting against something you misunderstood. Okay, so we're going to look. This verse says, be ye angry and sin not. Okay, it's not a sin to be angry. Okay, anger is not a sin. You can get in an argument with your wife, and I want to say this too, you know, don't run around with this preconceived notion, like, because this is the brainwashing of this culture, you know, from the media, everything. Oh, you're gonna get married and then happily ever after. No, it's you're gonna. We have arguments up in here. You know what I'm saying? Koya speak her mind. She ain't scared of me. I'm not. You know, I don't keep her in the corner in my pocket. You know, she will speak her mind. We get angry at each other. We do, but we don't sin. We don't get frustrated. We've been married 10 years, so we know. I know when she's doing something that I don't like, or I'm doing something she don't like. I know she's gonna express it. We know we got a cool down period. You know that we be like, you know what? I know she understood what I said. I'm done talking. She'd be like, you know what? I know he understood what I said. I'm done talking. And we don't go off into the wrath. Because when you get into the wrath, and I'm going to pull the definition of wrath up, when you get into the wrath zone, that's where the abuse begins to kick in. When I say abuse, I'm not talking physical. What abuse is where it goes from, look, you didn't do that. You got to do this. You messed that up. You got to do that. Boom, 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 boom. Where that thin line is, where you go into abuse, is when now you're throwing shots to get them more angry, to add to the anger. You're not just conveying your anger and your point. You're trying to push them into wrath with hurtful remarks. You're like, you know, you dumb as hell. And you pulling stuff up and taking shots that ain't got nothing to do with whatever the situation is. That's when you begin to creep into abuse. And then physical violence can ensue after that. And why it's important, why this verse is so heavy that Malachi was elaborating on, is, let me show you the definition of wrath. Because it said, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. Wrath is a sin. Okay, so let me show you that definition real quick. Wrath, it says extreme anger, chiefly used for, it says humorous, or there's a better definition of it here. It says, wrath, definition, strong, stern, or fierce anger, deeply resentful indignation. It's basically where you're so angry, you begin to lose control of yourself. And then that spirit takes over, and then you're sitting there filling out a police report talking about, and then all I seen was red. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta understand. You gotta understand that. And so let me go into frustration. What is frustration? What causes the frustration? The best way I could put it is when you feel like your hands are tied behind your back and you don't know what to do. And part of the issue out here for men and women alike is nobody's teaching you, what do you do when your husband ain't lining up with the word and you in the truth? Or what do you do when you're a man and you in the truth and your wife is just not responding? She just irrational and she's a mess. Like, nobody wants to teach on this and talk about this, but yet this is what plagues our whole community. This is the elephant in the room in the Hebrew Israelite community.
Wow.
Okay? So when you have understanding, when you understand, like me, when I'm dealing with my wife, I understand, okay, if she acting like this, you know, and it's not one simple thing. Well, I'm sorry. It's not one thing. It's a couple things, but one of the things is just learning how to understand what a woman's really saying. There was a brother I talked to, and he was saying how, he came into the truth, but his wife would bring up things in the past, and different situations, but he had changed. But what a lot of men don't understand, all they're hearing is that. They're hearing the surface of what this woman's saying. Okay? But what they're really not hearing is what the woman's trying to convey to him is, you hurt me for years. You hurt me, you damaged me. And now you want me to make myself vulnerable to you. And it's not happening, or it's going to happen slowly. And men are not sensitive enough to hear that. A lot of these dudes are so blockheaded. They're like, submit, shut your mouth, woman, blah, blah, blah. And they get frustrated, but they're not really understanding and being sensitive to what's really going on in that woman's, what she's trying to convey to them. And this needs to be taught. Because that little thing I just said right there will alleviate a whole bunch of frustration and violence and stuff. That's why we have to be patient, long-suffering, and understanding. You got to be able, you know what I'm saying? That's how Christ was with us while we were running around, running around sinning. Did you have, Malachi, did you have anything?
Yeah, I just had something on the same thing you were saying. You was talking about what you're leading into now, you're leading into bitterness.
Right.
If you don't take care of that, now you're going off into bitterness, which is a very dangerous area in a relationship. Frustration basically can lead to bitterness. As you said, if you don't come to understand, going back to Ezekiel 37, what you brought out from the top of this, you said that these bones were dead and then they're coming alive. So it's like a surgery. It is very precise, So the husband has to understand that he's dealing with a very vulnerable vessel when he's dealing with a woman, okay? So as you said, she begins to speak to him and he has to hear her voice and discern what she's saying, unless what? Bitterness springs up. In Hebrews chapter 12, verse 15 and 16 speaks on that. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 15 and 16. And it speaks as this. It says, looking diligently. See, this is a diligent exercise that we're talking about when we're talking about relationships, right? You have to be diligent towards it. It's nothing that you can relax on, right? Especially at high times as we're living in, when we're all trying to reconnect, as the Ach brought out concerning the dry bones. Lest any man fail the grace of Elohim, right? Lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled.
Right.
Many relationships are defiled right now.
What verse is that, so I can pull it up out?
Hebrews 12, verse 15 through 16.
Okay.
So it's telling us many has been defiled by this. They have reached the area of bitterness. They have passed frustration. And when they were frustrated, they didn't understand the dry bones. It's very powerful what you brought out concerning the dry bones. They didn't understand that we are in the phase of dry bones. We're coming alive, but it's a lot of different particles that we're missing. And knowing that, we have to be very diligent one towards another, right? Submitting to one another. Why? Unless we get into the area of bitterness. And when that springs up, it defiles the whole house, right?
Right.
The whole building plan.
And hold on one sec. Sister, I'm going to answer your question next. Sister Tahil, I'll hit your question next. Okay? Go ahead, Malachi.
Then we go into verse 16. Then it gives us an example right here. It says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. You see that? We don't want to get in this area of a relationship. Frustration can lead to you giving away your birthright.
Right, right.
In this awakening, you can get so bad in the area that you'll give up, you'll faint.
Right.
And that's what Esau did. Esau began to what? Let bitterness raise up against his brother, Jacob, in that relationship. And then he fell into becoming a fornicator. And then he what? He began to go out. He became ashamed to his mother and father. Right? He went out and dealt with areas that they told him growing up, don't get into. Right. So his frustration led to bitterness. And that's what we want to avoid, as brother Michael Israel brought out earlier. Right. Dry bones, very important point that you brought out. All right. Concerning dry bones.
And one of the sisters asked, and I get this question too, and we're gonna go into both sides of this. She asked, "What do I do?" She says, "I'm a woman, and my man." She said, "Yes. What do you do when your man that the head is not lining up?" And with that, we're gonna go to because society's gonna tell you all types of stuff, and it's gonna destroy your relationship. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna explain this thoroughly. Because it's very simple and straightforward, but it can be hard to overcome all the emotional wiring and brainwashing that we've been subject to in this Babylonian culture we live in. So let me read this verse. It's 1 Peter, verse 3. Chapter 3, verse 2. Okay? So it says, "Likewise, ye wives," it says, "be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear." And it goes on and breaks it down. But what that is saying is, if you have a man that's off, you're not gonna, and it's all through the Bible, you're not gonna nag a man into the truth. You're not gonna nag a man into being a man. If you nag a man, there's a verse that says it maketh feeble knees, it makes him weaker, it feminizes him more. Okay? Women carry a lot of influence. Okay? They have that skill. So when you look through the word, what it's telling you to do is encourage him. Use your feminine ways to encourage him to be a leader. If he's not on point with something, if he's not, say, taking care of the bills, say, like the example I give, he keeps forgetting to pay the light bills, and instead he's spending money on some shoes. Let the lights go out. And don't even nag him about it. When he comes home, "Hey, why are the lights out?" "Oh, I don't know. I checked the breaker, honey." You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. Maybe we should call the electrician. "What do you think we should do?" And what I'm saying is encourage him to lead. And one of the things is, a man will begin to walk as a man when he feels like a man. A lot of women force men into feeling like little boys by nagging them and being on them and all that. And that verse said, "without the word, that he may be won by your behavior." So he's like, dang. Like, I asked her to do that, she did it. She don't even fuss at me no more. It's like, but you see how hard what I'm saying is when you try to consider that emotionally. It's like, whoa. So just that verse there really makes you face a lot of stuff in yourself. Now, as far as men stepping up to the plate, you know what I'm saying? I deal with that all the time. And let me say this too. Something I always tell people. when I see these relationships falling apart, I don't care, you know, for the most part. There's certain situations where it's just a mess. But it only takes one person to fix that relationship. It only takes one, you know. The reason relationships fall apart is because most people can't deal with frustration. They don't know how to deal with it. They can't handle it. You know, they're not willing to do the work and figure out what's missing in them to fix the situation. This is men and women alike. And the Most High takes you through these types of situations so you can feel his pain of how he had to deal with you and us as a nation. You know what I'm saying? For years, you know, for years, I know I was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
So you need, he's an amazing God to where he wants you to understand what this thing is, what's going on. So, some men, so somebody puts, so true, some men don't know when their wife is crying out for their understanding. Exactly. And that's what I teach a lot of men with the biblical masculinity when I say, hey, men, the first thing to overcoming frustration is men need to become more sensitive. And when I say sensitive, this society got me where, okay, I got to cry more and I got to get cupcakes and roses and wear pink. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Be that man. Be that dude. Don't turn into no emasculated gayfer. You know what I'm saying? Be that soldier. But you need to be sensitive to what your wife's really saying. You need to be able to understand that complicated language of womanese that women speak. You know what I'm saying? And they just, what women, a lot of women doing is just speaking what they're feeling at the moment, which is true. And they're sensitive. They're more sensitive than us. So they can inherently sense when you're not being a real man or when you are somewhere and everything like that. And you can use that. That's a tool to help you grow as a man. You see what I'm saying? So when I teach on biblical masculinity, the way I teach it, there's 3 parts to it. Affection, direction, and correction. Okay, those are the qualities a man needs to have. And the first most important one is of affection, which is being able to be sensitive and understand what's going on with your woman and what she's really saying and feeling. And it's not always that you know, sometimes what they're communicating you, it could be different things. But you really gotta stop listening to it like what was that? Okay. You need to you have to stop listening to it like you're listening to some dude talk. You're listening to a woman, you know. And when you begin to understand what they're saying, you grow. Okay. Ach Malachi, did you have anything you want to bring out? I'm gonna hand it back to you.
Yeah, hallelujah. Praise God, man. You really touching on some great subjects here, man. And just to add on to what you was referring back to the sister concerning her question, you know, in the book of Ecclesiastes, it talks about basically what you're saying. We first have to understand that 2 is better than 1. Okay, that's what a relationship is all about. And this is just dealing with marriage or any relationship. 2 is better than 1. Because you have more reward for your labor that way. Okay. So if one fall, the other can pick them up. And that's what you were saying. We can get frustrated and we can leave someone before time, not enduring to the end. That's why it says 2 become 1 flesh, because 2 is literally better than 1. When one fall, the other can pick them up. And it goes on to say, woe unto the one that falls alone. So me as a man, and I'm married, so as the brother said earlier, it's nothing like a man knowing that he has a helper, right? And sometimes, like he said, her allowing him to fall, but yet picking him up, not allow him to fall, to trample on him, but allow him to fall that he may what? Judge himself.
Right.
Such as the brother said, letting the lights go off. Ain't no man gonna sit up in no house with no lights off and looking at his wife over there, knowing that, hey, I ain't gonna be married too long with this woman, sitting here in the dark with kids also. So in that, she's actually what? Going to lift him up. She didn't let him fall to destroy him. She allowed him to fall that he may judge within himself. Then he's going to judge within himself. And then with that, if y'all willing, he's going to gather himself. Shaul talks about it. He says, wife, do you not know that you can save your husband? Husband, do you not know that you can save your wife? And more than anything, you what? You make your children holy.
Right.
When you do that. When you lift one another up, you actually make your children set apart. And also Shaul talks about this. If you want to turn to Ephesians chapter 5,
all right, let me pull it up here.
Just to go a little farther with this. Ephesians 5, 21 through 33. And what we're talking about now is a mystery. See?
Wait, say that again. Ephesians 5 what?
21 through 33.
Okay, cool. Here we go.
And these are mysteries we're talking about now. And when I say mystery, it just means secrets. Because a king searches out these matters, see? And Yahuwah conceals it. Because why? It's holy. Marriage is holy. So therefore, it's a mystery to it.
Right.
So if you really want to be married, if you really want to endure, you're going to what? Seek out these mysteries. And this is what Shaul is dealing with in Ephesians chapter 5, 21 through 33. And that's what we're talking about, Mishpachah. We're talking about mysteries now. We're talking about secrets that we must seek out. Ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Okay?
Right.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21. Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of Elohim. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto Yah. See, that's very strong. Submitting yourselves one to another, then it breaks it down, dealing with the wife personally. You have to look at your husband as Elohim. That's very powerful, right? That's why the Messiah said, when you see me, you see the Father. We first have to understand that Mashiach was a man. He came in the flesh. Once we understand that our husbands are the chosen of Yah, he's anointed to lead you as Mashiach was anointed to lead the body. He didn't choose himself. Yahweh chose him. That's why he's saying, if you hate me, you hate the Father. See? Because I didn't choose this. I am sent to take away your shame, wife. That's what you're telling her. Mm-hmm. I'm the one to come to take away your reproach.
Right.
All right?
Right.
Verse 23. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Mashiach is the head of the body or the assembly. And he is the savior of the body. We as husbands, we save her. That's what we do. We are sent to save her. We bring her out of her father's house to save her. Just like our father Yaakov did with Rachel and Leah. He came to save them from Laban. Not that Laban was going to kill them, but you what? You bought them with a price. What is the price? Your own life. Your own life. You're no longer going to be known as a fornicator. You're no longer going to be known as an unclean person, right? And to do this, you're coming to get her. You're going to wash her, right? Through the anointing, not by your own might, because you were sent. You were sent, right? You anointed to do this.
Right.
This ain't nothing that you chose. You anointed to save her body, right? And then I'm going to go with a couple more, and I'm going to turn back over to we'll get back into this. Then it says what? It says, therefore, as the assembly is subject unto Mashiach, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. This is how the wives must look at their husband. I know it's hard sometimes if he's not walking in his anointing. But this is what the Most High has set forth. This is the mystery. Shaul's bringing out the mystery right here. But I know, as the brother brought out, the dry bones, I know we are not in this place yet. But this is what we're getting to. We're getting to this mystery. Then this body will really function in a very powerful way.
Right, right.
We see each other in this manner. This is the mystery, Mishpachah. This is the mystery. That's why it says, don't let bitterness rise up. Then you kill this mystery. You will not finish the race. This is the ultimate goal that Yah wants for us. That's why it's always wanted us to kill the man and leave the woman alive. Because we are the anointed. We are the chosen of Yah to save her. Right? One more verse. Husbands, see? Now it's finna get to the husbands. Husbands, love your wives. This is not a play. This is something serious. You are sent to love her as Mashiach loved the body. Even as what? Mashiach loved the assembly and gave himself for it. That's what we have to understand as husbands. We are denying, as the song goes, I know everybody probably heard in the past, says, I don't want to be a player no more.
Right.
See? I don't want to be a player no more. I don't want to be Esau. I don't want to sell my birthright and be known as a fornicator. See? So I'm going to lay down my life and take away her reproach.
Right.
Then I can take away her shame. I can take her out of her father's house and bring her unto me. Then it says that he might what? Sanctify and cleanse her with the washing of water by the word. Then you can speak to her. Then she'll hear your voice. That's why Mashiach says, my sheep know my voice. It's the same way with a husband and a wife. Then she will hear you and obey you. You will wash her by the washing of the word. You will renew her mind through your words. Because you are doing what you say, therefore she's going to do what you say. Again, you do what you say, then she's going to do what you say.
Right.
Go back in.
All right. So yeah. So again, just building off what my Ach Malachi just said is hold on, let me pull up a verse. I'll pull up a verse. Hold on. Okay. Let me see what I got. I want to go back to that verse he had, Ephesians. What happens a lot is the biggest thing is people aren't accountable to themselves.
There you go.
And I've said it, I'm sure y'all have heard this said before. The common denominator in all your problems is you. Okay? And and this is in the book, like one of the most painful things to do is humble down, because us as a nation, we have a spirit of pride, a spirit of stubbornness, a stiff-necked people, and it manifests in our relationships. You know, because a relationship is like putting your personality under in the furnace of affliction. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna test every inch of who you are. So when I see people going through it in their relationships, and there's no way around you being accountable for part of your relationship issues. And people are like, no, my husband is straight crazy. Like he boom, 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 boom. And I haven't seen it like straight crazy. Man, it's like, so you telling me there weren't huge red flags when you first met him?
Yeah.
Or people be like, they be talking about their wives. She don't do what I say. She do this. She be looking. It's like, yeah, but there were these huge red flags with the day you saw her the first time. But, you know, you was thinking, you know, you seen them hips and dips, got the naughty tingles, couldn't think straight, and then next thing you know, you was married. So no matter what, it's 50-50 both people's responsibility. You see what I'm saying? So we have to be accountable. But in order to be accountable and to take responsibility for what we did, we have to humble down. Pride, it's the pride that kills us, you know what I'm saying? And look, I'm banging on this so hard because this is all I'll be studying. I done been through a lot. I got a decent understanding on relationships and all that, and on working on myself, getting myself right, which I ain't where I need to be. I still got a lot of work to do, but some of the heavy work I've done, I could discern other people's spirits real fast, and folks think you don't see them. Folks be a mess, and they hide it from a lot of people, but you can't hide it from somebody who's been through it, and they could discern the spirit you got on you.
That's right.
And that's why people come to me for relationship advice. I cut straight with them. I be straight with them. And one of the first things I tell them is, hey, I don't even need both y'all here. I can fix this whole thing through you. Whether you're a man or a woman, I can fix it right through you. And they be like, huh. And matter of fact, it's easier talking to them one by one, because you be great when you got them both there. You be going in on one of them, and the other one's there like, ooh, it feels so good. Yeah, get them, Mike. And then you come to them, and they can't even sit still. So it's actually better going that route. But
yes.
let me get the meat off the bone with this scripture here. Ephesians 5:21. It says, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. And a lot of people just throw this out there in a feminist type of way. Mm-hmm. And they don't realize, like me, I'm sitting there like, what are they doing, man? I hate when they do this, because they don't realize they just ruining people's marriages. And just the fires going in their marriage. They've literally threw a verse in there and poured gas on it, because they take this verse out of context, because the very next sentence explains how you are to submit one to another in the fear of God. It says, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. And then it tells the husbands how to treat their wives with these crazy camps. And it's not, man, and I'm going to stop saying these crazy camps, because it ain't just the camps.
Yes.
And not all the camps. It's certain ones. Because there's camps out there, they run a tight ship. They develop fruitful relationships. So what a lot of men do is, see, you got to submit to me as unto the Lord. But then the next verse telling you to treat the woman like a part of your body.
Correct.
And you got dudes out there, their arm, let me get my arm in a bit. This is how the dudes treat their arm. Their arm get a cut on it. And they're like, come on, arm. They punch in their arm. And my arm hurt. Then they cut their daggone arm off.
That's right.
Like, that's what these dudes, because they so blockheaded and insensitive in their biblical understanding.
That's right.
If your arm got a cut on it, oh, you're going to be like that. Let me get this. You're gonna put a little bandage on it. You're going to nurse it. You're going to take it easy on it. You ain't going to take it easy on it forever. But see, that is the misunderstanding we have out here. And this is at the source of why there's so much relationship frustration, abuse, violence, and all that. Because people want to have a they got a, the way they don't when they understand things, they're not looking at themselves. That's right. Everybody wants to point the finger out there. Right. Okay. All right. So yeah, so let me okay, I see y'all got a lot of statements. Let me read some of y'all statements. All right, Sister Tahil put, Todah, brothers, this is encouraging. Sometimes the frustration is in the question, how long can one endure? old folk used to call it being wrong and strong, and that attitude can exhaust a marriage. Absolutely. Being wrong and strong. And that attitude can exhaust a marriage. How do you refresh or reboot so that you can continue on? That now I would need to know more about what's going on, but being okay. Let me pull this verse up and because maybe I didn't explain something. It says, likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they are not without the word be won by the conversation of the wild, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. So, a lot of people have a bad interpretation of what chaste conversation coupled with fear is. That's not saying you got to be this little mouse in the corner. Yes, sir, boss, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Lord, master. No. Be a black woman. Be a sister. Like, look, dude, you got to get it together. Like, tell him. You can tell him. What the Bible don't tell you to shut up and sit in the corner anywhere. But there's a point where it turns into nagging. Okay? But speak up. Tell this dude he's putting the family at risk. Tell this man where the issue's at. Explain to him. You warn him. Tell him. Be vocal. But there's a point where you just go off into your emotions and it's nagging. And it's just now you're gnawing away at him. You're killing his manhood and all that. But the dude, the dude can be... You don't have to be this soft-spoken, woman. But when it turns into disrespect, into running your big mouth and not shutting up, into the dude feeling like, it says better it is to dwell with a dragon or something like that than in a house with a contentious woman. When it turns into contention, now it's that you're in abuse.
Right.
You're in abuse thing. Go ahead, Ach.
Yeah. I think first, Peter talks about these things too that you're talking about. And we got to remember that Keeper was married also. So whenever he speaks, he's speaking on a place of experience and wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Go to 1 Peter chapter 3.
All right, let me. Okay, I got it.
1 Peter chapter 3, verse 5. 5 through, I guess, 7.
All right.
5 through 7.
All right.
He says, for after this manner in the old time, the holy women also who trusted in Elohim or God adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands. See what he's doing here? He's taking us back what we just read when Shaul talks about being submissive to your own husband. So he's taking you back even to our elders of our fathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rachel, and Leah, Rebecca. Verse 6, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Adonai, or Lord. And this may help the sister who just had that question about rebooting her marriage, or the zeal in her marriage, or whatever. Remember the patriarchs and the matriarchs of old, right? So Keeper is telling us here, if you want to reboot your covenant, go back and study the patriarchs and matriarchs and see what they did. Even Sarah humbled herself and called Abraham Adonai. But watch what he does. Whose daughters ye are. See that? As long as you do well and are not afraid with any amazement. What is he talking about here? Being afraid. Because we know that a woman is saved through childbearing. But it goes on to say, if she don't what? Become in amazement or come afraid. So we study Sarah. when Abraham left his mother and father and took Sarah with him, you have to realize that this was new to Sarah. She's leaving her father's house. This is why in the Torah, a man goes to the woman's father and gives him a what? Dowry, and takes her out of his house into his house. That's going to bring amazement. That's amazement. Because now she has to humble herself to a new father. Y'all see that? So that can bring a little amazement. And it did it to Sarah. Sarah was amazed about how Abraham was traveling. And she followed him. But you have to understand that it was a lot of amazement. That's why she used to laugh at things. When the angel came to speak to her, she laughed. She took it lightly. And then she tried to deny that she was laughing. Abraham said, I saw you laughing. Why? She was amazed about how the Most High was dealing with them even in their old age. And I think that's what has happened to a lot of us. In these latter days, in this awakening, we didn't think it was going to be like this. We didn't really know what marriage was. And it's amazing us. And some people are becoming afraid, and the men are trying to rule with a heavy hand, because it's amazement now to a lot of our women that they're actually going to have to obey us. See?
Yeah.
Why? Because in their father's house, it wasn't like that. Her father allowed her to do all. Here's a good example. Rachel, that's with her what? Father's gods. You see that?
Right.
Then she had to come unto the tutelage of Jacob. It was hard. It was amazement to her.
Right.
Verse 7. Likewise, now it's going to deal with the husbands. Likewise, you husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge. You have to know this about her. So you got to dwell with her with that. And that's what Ach was bringing out earlier.
And yeah, let me real fast on that verse with Malachi just brought out, is a lot of men read over that, and that is a heavy verse. It says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. So honoring her as a weaker vessel is understanding, like, is exactly what I just said, not getting so frustrated. And the way to not get frustrated is through understanding. You got to learn and get educated and understand what's going on and how your woman works and what's going on. One of the big things a lot of dudes don't understand with our women, and we are called to heal this thing in them. Like, we don't step up to the plate and think about the fact that, look, we just like us, our women have come out of broken families.
Come on now.
They haven't been raised like women, really. They didn't have a father in their lives. They've been over 50. It's like 3/4 of women now. The number went up. 3/4 of women have been raped or molested by the time they're 20. A lot of them have had abortions, which puts a lot of guilt and when they come to realization and they face the fact that I killed somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's a huge amount of guilt. And when that doesn't get dealt with, it causes bitterness inside. That's why a lot of these women are struggling with depression and other mental illnesses. They say the strong, independent black woman is the new face of depression.
There you go, bro.
Because what? There's a lot they haven't dealt with. And our men are not soldiers. They're so weak, they quit and get frustrated and give up on something so fast. Oh, she ain't kneeling. She ain't calling me Lord. Forget about it. She can't see you as Lord, because all the other men she done seen have been mice. You know, I can't come up with a good name for that, less than men. So they're not seeing that. And dudes don't understand that, because a lot of these dudes is blockheaded. They're insensitive. They don't understand. Getting understanding. What's
Correct.
that? What, hit me with that. What's that verse where it says get understand him? What's that, Malachi? That verse?
Yeah, in all you're getting, get understanding.
There you go.
In all you're getting.
In all you're getting, get understanding. Understanding automatically kills frustration. It's like, you know, and you'll never make it to abuse and violence because in your heart you'll show mercy.
Yes, right.
Because you'll understand what's going on with it. All right, I'll hand it back over to you.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
I just wanted to make sure I get all the meat off the bone on that heavy scripture that Malachi brought out. This is 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. This is what it's talking about. It's like, likewise, ye husbands dwell with them according to knowledge. You got to get understanding. And just like I be seeing dudes, they be like, man, I ain't messing. Like, I'm done with her, man. She crazy, you know. But you don't understand all the hurt that's been done to her, and she's a sensitive, delicate woman, and the only thing she could do is get tough and act the way they do. And the one person that the Most High has ordained to bring her out of this is just getting frustrated and quitting on her, and this, that, and the other. And so we got to understand that again, because I don't, spiritual combat don't give women no pass up in here. Same thing with the women. This ain't a ticket for you to run your big mouth and be this big mouth monster up in the house like, yeah,
correct.
No, you need to check yourself and begin to understand and figure out why you can't shut your mouth, why you get so angry. You got to look at yourself. And that I educate the men on, hey, you got to begin, they got to look at themselves. And it hurts, man.
Yeah.
You don't think it hurts thinking about some of the stuff that's happened to, that's happened to these women and men alike, to make them who they are, but we're not coming out of these curses magically. We're going to come out of these curses. We're going to come up from under them by doing the work, the hard work that's painful, which is facing yourself. You know what I'm saying? Self-examination. That's right, Sheila Bryant. You right. Mm-hmm. That's good, sis. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. I left you. I interrupted you at verse 7 on 1 Peter.
Now you just put the butter on the bread. That's what you did. You put that butter on the bread. Getting it ready for the oven. You gotta get it ready. That thing. You put that butter on there, man. It's gonna bring a little savor to the flavor.
All right, there you go.
So now I can go back in and really go ahead and put that jam on it. So it talks about, like Ach said, giving honor to the weaker vessel, and then you're gonna understand that you're heirs together of the grace of life. When you go get her, bring her from her father's house, you and her are coming into a new life. As you say, you have some things that you dealt with in your house, and she has things that she dealt with in her house. Now you both can confess these things one to another, submitting one to another now. Then you can bring healing to one another because you're coming into the grace of life, marriage. When you come into marriage or covenant, you're coming into a new life, all right? And then when a man understands this, his prayers will not be hindered. See that? Because he's laying down his life like Mashiach laid down his life for the assembly, So when you lay down your life for her, because whenever you marry, you know what you're getting into. You are taking away her shame. You're taking away her shame where? From her father's house. That's why she's leaving there to come into your house. So when you understand that, you're going to be willing to what? Endure, long suffer.
Right.
Then it goes back to Mashiach laying down his life for the body. But in the past, we went and just married. We did it without what? Understanding.
Right.
So now the understanding is coming late in this awakening because we all been what? Wounded. Wounded with the wound of a what? Enemy That's why these dry bones, like the brother brought out from the beginning, Ezekiel 37, we all been wounded. We're all dead. We're all in the grave. So we're late, but yet we're on time, right? We're late, but we're on time.
And real fast, I wanted to say this also is, don't get this twisted, because if you're a man, I want to make sure y'all understand now, still, that don't mean when she doing something and she out of order and she being a mess that you just, oh, well, I gotta, you know, this, that. Tell her about herself.
That's it.
And like the brother said, it cut. The truth cut.
Cuts.
Her feelings ain't a sin, you know. So tell her the truth. Step up. Be a man. Correct this woman. Put her in order. But don't be like, before you could do that, you got to have your emotions under control. Because a lot of dudes start talking and they get carried away with their emotions. And then and they can't and they all emotional, and then it turned into abuse.
Exactly.
You got to have the ability to tell people something sternly and straightforward, and call out her disorderliness and how she out of order and all that, without getting carried off into your emotions or jumping on her emotional roller coaster. And we've all been caught up in that as men, you know, but it's about being a truly biblically, righteously grounded, masculine man, and not getting blown by all the winds and all that stuff.
Right. Because you've been sent up. Whenever a man goes to get her, he's been sent. He's not coming on his own. That's why it's a mystery. That's why it labels Mashiach in the body, because this is a mystery. And a woman has to understand what this man is coming. He's been sent to bring her out of her reproach, out of her shame. And with that, it could bring amazement. You are really Adonai? You are really like Elohim to me? That's amazing. See what I'm saying? Her father is not like that. Her father's days are short. But when her husband comes, he is truly her Adonai, and that will bring amazement. So this is why the man must understand that he's not to be soft, he's to be stern. Why? Because he's like Adonai. He's not changing.
And
he's faithful.
And real fast, building off what Malachi just said, is we have to understand that the Bible also says, as Christ loved the church, love your wife. Correct. Christ wasn't always bubblegum and cupcakes. Sometimes he'll come down on us hard and tell it like it is, and discipline us and all that stuff like that. That's love. Love is not going along to get along. That's a sin. You're not being a man. You're not leading, you know. But it's doing it righteously, having your emotions under control. And that's what I keep saying. That's why I don't get caught up with a lot of these people out here teaching or doing whatever they're doing, because they really, you can see it on them and see it in a lot of situations where they haven't developed and gotten their emotions lined up with this word. They only learned, all they did was repetition, memorize a bunch of scriptures, and they ain't bringing no rhema word. They ain't bringing that sword. You know, they ain't cutting. And you know, it says you'll know them by their fruits.
That's right. They weren't sent, They weren't sent to take away nobody's shame. That's why Mashiach says, I am the good shepherd. See, I'm the one going to take you away from your shame, Mishpachah. That's what he was telling us. I'm the one sent. The ones that came before me are what? Wolves. See?
Yeah.
That's what we say when we go obtain a wife.
Right.
That's why Yaakov went and he what? He took Laban's whole house. He was what? Sent. His mother and father sent him there. You know what I'm saying? He was sent. And that's what the wife have to understand. We are sent to save her. That's why Abraham had Sarah under submission. But it wasn't like that from the beginning. She was in amazement. But when she began to see that Yah was with him, she says, you're my Adonai. Where else I'm going to go? That's what Kiefer says. Right. You are the Messiah. Where else I'm going to go? And that's what this mystery is going to what? Soon be revealed, right? It's going to be revealed. You see it in your home, as you talk about all the time. You see in the growth of your home. I see it in my home. That's why I'm able to speak with this with authority. I went through this, and it comes like that. It comes with amazement first, right? Because why? They didn't know that we are made in the image of Allah. People don't really understand that you are in the image of Yah. And submit to your husband in all things. Because why? He's Adonai. But when that really comes to, it's beautiful, man. It's heavenly, and your prayers will not go unanswered, you know?
Because you in line with the word.
Boom.
All right. And like I said, y'all, for those of y'all watching, if y'all got any questions, go ahead and post them in there related to the topic. If you got any questions, go ahead and y'all can start posting them. I see there's a couple, but because we'll start taking questions or comments or input. Because like I said, we're making it a group discussion. And also, I want to tell y'all while everybody's watching, for those of y'all in the Jacksonville, Florida region, next weekend we're gonna have a Shabbat here in Jacksonville. It's probably gonna be at the beach, weather permitting. Definitely stay tuned for information on that, because you know the weather cooperates, man. It can be amazing out here. I know a lot of times it's 70, 80 degrees, real comfortable. So we'll probably be having a beach Shabbat next, not this Shabbat today, but next weekend. So I'll be putting information out about the location and all that this week. And then after that Shabbat, we'll probably all go somewhere and kind of hang out, fellowship, get to know each other. Like I said, when I do the Shabbat, it's not going to be a ton of teaching. Y'all could come on here and learn, hear me forever. It's just, I'm going to do a quick lesson. And I want to focus more on getting to know each other, because that's the important thing, you know, in a comfortable environment. So definitely keep your eyes open for our Shabbat we're going to be doing here. Like I said, next Shabbat coming up. I think that's going to be on the 17th or something like that. Let me check my... Yeah, it's going to be the 16th. So just mark your calendars for that. It's going to... main focus is just getting to know each other and kind of building a family that feels like a family. Not like you're serving some organization or something, but building a family that you could count on. Because I know a lot of us have... you know, you come into this truth and a lot of your family don't come in with you. And a lot of people, we talked about this, feel isolated, and we're trying to do what we can to eliminate that isolation. So more on that will be forthcoming, but definitely make sure you come check that out. All right. Okay, so we got a question. I think this is for you, Malachi. Somebody was asking, how is the woman's father's house a place of shame and reproach? I'm not sure if you said that or...
Yes, because she can't have a baby by her father.
Okay.
So as she continues to grow up in her father's house, if you go back in ancient times, that's why when Jacob came to Laban's house, he was glad to see him. And he says, I would love to give you my daughters, because he knew who Jacob was, because if not, then the daughter will be considered a dry tree or unfruitful. So we know that you can't lay down with your daughter. So that's her shame. That's her reproach.
Okay.
Because she's there without a seed. So if a man is sent there to give dowry to her father, then what? Then that brings her, because a woman is saved by what? Childbearing. If she doesn't what? Go into amazement. And that's what, if you go back and look at that with Leah And Rachel, Jacob came and says, your father has changed his countenance towards me. And the angel of Yah had told Jacob to pack up and leave. And he was wondering, are y'all going to go with me? They said, sure. Our father has spent out our dowry. See that? Why?
Right.
He spent it up. I need to go with you. You are sent by the Most High to take away our reproach. And at that time, they had children by him. So
Right.
they're ready to go and build up the house now.
Right.
So that's what I mean by taking away her shame. The shame is she's barren. She's barren. She can't build a house in her father's house. She has to build a house with her husband.
Right. All right. We got sister put a good statement in here that I really want to build on. And y'all put your input in of what you think. But Sister Sheila, she put, we are wired to be wives and mothers. This is our design. And y'all don't realize how heavy that statement is and how I see, again, I was saying earlier, the new face of depression are these independent black women that got these careers. And it's almost like you can get in trouble saying, hey, you need to, go home and take care of your family and cook for your husband, this, that. Like, that's almost like a derogatory statement to a woman today, when the reality is a lot of women don't realize the reason they're feeling unfulfilled and depressed and hopeless and all this stuff is because they're not married. They don't have a kid. They don't have a family. You know what I'm saying? They're not walking in God's ordained role that he had them to walk in. They're trying to walk in this culture, this society's role of, oh, I got to earn for it. I can be this strong, independent, this, that, and the other. And what they don't realize is a lot of that feeling, those emotions that they're experiencing, that depression and hopelessness, is because they're out of order. We build on that, Malachi, if you could.
Yes. And I don't want them to get my words twisted, because a woman can go and be separate and not have child, and she can be the mother of many, but she's not what? Wanting against Mashiach. She's not living a life of lust. This woman has dedicated her life to the Most High. There's nothing wrong with that. So I want you to understand that. But she's most likely, she's not in her father's house, though. She's doing the work of the Most High. She has dedicated her life to the Most High because she's not living in lust.
Right.
And she's not wanting. She's not lusting after the world. So in that, she has brought her body under subjection through the Ruach. Nothing wrong with that. I just taking you back to the Torah, to our mothers in the days of old. It was considered a curse if their womb was left barren. So they were happy when a man was sent to them to bring them out of their father's house and build a house unto the Most High. This is why they call them the pillars or the matriarchs, because they the one build up the house, right, unto the Most High. This is why we even mention them today. Rachel, Leah, we know that the 12 tribes was birthed from these women. So that's why I say that. But if a woman has dedicated her life to the Most High and have decided not to have children for whatever reason, that she do more work for your Most High, I bid her to do that.
And one of the tricks of the enemy today, one of the ways they manipulate our women, is where back in the day it was a badge of honor to have a lot of children. Now they almost demonize a black woman who has a lot of kids, and they encourage her to sacrifice her kids for her career and have an abortion because, oh, you might not make as much money, so just kill that kid so you could get what? The money, the filthy lucre. You see what I'm saying? It's a heavy thing. And what does that cause? You do that, and we could go all into the dark side of abortion that they don't tell you, but I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff where they see a link between abortion and breast cancer, abortion and depression, where these doctors are really not even aborting the children. They just keep them alive and run them off and take them off and make thousands, millions of dollars off them. It's an ugly thing, man. And you know, it's again a lack of knowledge, and that again, at the end of the day, the responsibility lies with the men to overcome the odds of this other nation's oppression and walk this thing out and begin to endure, be patient, long suffering with our women, and help pull them up out of here. Because we need each other. We're all we got. And right. I'm telling y'all, brothers, man, if you frustrated with your wife and all that, understand this. You are all she got. If you throw up your hands and are done with her, she don't got nothing else. She just out there. Ain't right. She gonna be meat for the beasts of the field.
Correct.
Go ahead and hit on that, Ach.
Yes, and Shaul talks about if she desires to stay, let her stay, you know. But if she desires to leave, let her go, you know, because Yahuwah called you to peace. But if a woman desires to stay, don't cast her to the wolves. That's why it tells us don't put away your wives, you know. Don't give up on her if she desires to stay. And we know how much we can take, you know. If she just maybe just really not getting it, really not clicking to her mind, you just can't put her away for that, you know. You have to endure with her because you have to start looking at yourself. We were not always full of intellect, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and we still look through this stuff darkly. Right. So if it's not bringing a wrath on your house, let her stay, you know. Right. Don't try to push her out because she's not living up to your standards or to your intellect.
Yeah, you have more tools that you could work with, but I wanted to address a statement real quick. Okay. This one of the sisters said, "Thank you for stating that because there are many unmarried older women, and I was wondering if you were saying we are cursed." This thing isn't. Let me break this down because it's real practical. We've been laboring under incorrect knowledge for years, okay? Because you know, the Most High is setting stuff straight now, because He got some real people out here who seeking Him hard. So this is the best way I'm gonna say it. There's a lot of people, a lot of us out here, because of this society, because of the curses out here, because of the misinformation, because of the false prophets misleading people, have been for years chopping trees down, and they're chopping the trees down and putting in all this work, but they're in the wrong forest doing it. And that is what I with spiritual combat and my soldiers that I work side by side with, that's what people like me and Malachi, Yehukanan, Yasha'Allah, Koya, all my team, my inner circle, my brothers I build with, that's what we're doing. We're setting this thing straight. A curse and a blessing. A blessing is simply what the result of understanding and doing what the Most High has commanded us to do. And a curse is a result you get when it's just a result of not doing what the Most High said. And we have been brainwashed and deceived, me too. All the way up to I was 27 years old, I was brainwashed and deceived, and I suffered with my relationships and with my identity, and I'm going to be honest, I really didn't enjoy my life all the way up to I was 27. I didn't really get any enjoyment, and I knew something was off. So we're all a victim of this Babylonian, pagan, Christian culture that we've been raised up in. We're all victims of that. But now we're walking this thing out in spirit and in truth. And if look, I'm gonna tell y'all sisters this, and y'all get at me because I'll do a lesson on it. If you're an older woman, you're 50, whatever, there's still plenty of dudes out here that you could get up with. It's all over the place.
That's right.
It's and sooner than later. I'm talking about because matter of fact, I'm gonna do the lesson because it don't matter whether you're young or old. I'll lay it out, and if you apply this stuff in your life, in a matter of 2 months at max, you'll be meeting somebody who you can know and love for the remainder of your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's the bad information has been put out. That's why I get real mad sometimes when I hear certain people teach stuff, because they're perpetuating, or whatever the word is, they're continuing the confusion. And I'm here to set things in line according to the word, because there's a lot of deception out there. So, you know what I'm saying? We kicking that thing down there. Yeah, Sister Koya put child doesn't mean less purpose or less love by Yah. Yeah. But let's see. My D Brew, that's my man D. He said, in decision making, when there's disagreement, is it okay for the man to give the wife authority to make the final decision, or does man in his role always have the final decision? You're supposed to rule your house. And a lot of men, when they hear that, they're like dictator, lordship, kneel before Zod, and all this crazy. But you're supposed to rule it righteously. And so, yeah, I'm the head of my house. But I would, if I could give you an analogy and a model of how I run my house like a CEO, where I'm the CEO. So, like, for instance, the CEO of GM, is he down there on the floor putting the cars together and in the finance office doing the reports and all that? No, he delegates certain things. Like Madison and Samantha have tasks that they have to carry out. Madison has to make sure that kitchen's clean. Samantha has to learn how to cook eggs next to her mother. You know, when I come home from work, one of them gets my computer out, the other one turns the TV on for me, the other one opens the curtains for me, and one of them gets my pillow so I can just lay on it. They got tasks they do. They understand. Right. Sister Koya got stuff that she is in charge of, that she's responsible for doing. And that's right. Me, I got to carry my load and do what I'm responsible for doing, and I got to make wise decisions. You see what I'm saying? Right. So everybody knows it's order. So everybody knows, or is learning, including me, you know, what their role is, what they need to do. And we all see the benefits of us working together like a cohesive team. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's how we operate. We're not like, that's what I'm saying, that blockhead understanding of, I do everything. Just shut up, stay in the corner, and you shouldn't even be heard, woman. You know, do this, do that, do it. Nah, that's not how you operate. You operate like a basketball team. Like I haven't watched basketball in a couple of years, but a good model would be how the San Antonio Spurs operate. They operate, or they used to. I haven't watched them in a long time, but they operate like a team. You know, and ain't no superstar. There's a leader who calls the plays, and everybody that has their role. And a lot of brothers don't get that. Go ahead, Malachi.
That's good right there, man. You were bringing out to the brother that asked that question. You're bringing out now that wisdom of Jethro. That's what you're bringing out. You're bringing out that wisdom that Jethro had, that priestly wisdom. Because you sound just like Jethro. Jethro was telling Moses the same thing. He said, Moses, it's not good for you to be the CEO. See? Because it's not good for you or the people.
Right.
You kill them. You have to delegate certain activities or measures to your body. And that's what you're saying. Once you understand and they understand what's going on and that ruach begin to flow, you can delegate decisions to your wife. Sure, my wife can make decisions. Why? Because I am not sitting before her like a dictator. She knows who I am now. She's calling me Adonai. And she has that understanding. She has the ability to what? Make matters. She has the ability to call matters now. And that's what Jethro was telling Moses. He says, choose some wise men amongst the body that can what? Answer some of these matters. You can't do it by yourself. This is why you got your children. If you have daughters, if you have sons. Why? So they can delegate certain things inside the body. Therefore, it won't what? Wear you out or them out. Everyone has a precise measure of faith, and they are to carry that out. Okay. So sure, he can allow her, his wife, to answer some questions and take matters in her own hands. Right. Sure.
All right, I got some questions to answer. One sister, and I feel like this is important. She said, I separated from my husband because of his uncontrolled frustration and anger after 14 years of marriage. While now separated, I came into the truth. How can I show him my new awakening? Is, okay, and be careful, you know, make sure you know straight psycho, you know what I'm saying? But the way to do it is, again, that First Peter spirit. You know what I'm saying? That First Peter chapter 3, don't frustrate him. You know, and he's gonna have to learn. In doing that, he will learn to deal with his frustration. So you as a woman, women are very detail oriented. Like, I know Koya knows more of what I prefer and want than I know. Okay, because women are watching and naturally wired up to know the needs of their family. They know the needs of a baby who can't communicate or talk. And that's something the most I put on. So if you were to get back with them, don't, you know, stuff that might set them off, or don't go back and forth with them. And when he begins to see that, it cuts him, man. It cuts a man when y'all women don't understand how powerful it is when they just back off and stop fighting. Because a real man is a lion. That's and right. A lion, if you come at them aggressive, they're gonna come at you aggressive. And like that. A real dude. And then a lot of other men are just going to avoid the fight and just tune you completely out. But when you begin to comply and you're not going against him and he's asking you to do something and it's not a sin and he's asking you to do it and you do it and ain't all this contention, that is a heavy thing, because the dude really start feeling guilty, and you know what I'm saying? It really cuts into a man to where it forces him to look at himself. Mm-hmm. And he's going to really try to get himself right. And he also going to be like, what the hell are you studying? Because I want to study it. Because it's making my wife, like, I love my wife, you know? And it's going to draw him to wherever you're getting it from. And you'll win him to the truth. So let me read the scripture again. It says, likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, so he's wrestling with anger and whatever he's wrestling with, they also may without the word, let me pull it up here on the screen for you, they also may without the word. You don't even got to quote the scripture to them. You don't even got to try to teach them this, that, and the other and say, hey, you know, you need to watch this guy. It said, without the word, be won by the conversation of their wives. So you're not being a big mouth. You ain't nagging. You ain't being rebellious. You're not adding to the stress in his life. You're going to win him. He's going to get curious to know what you're studying, because he's going to want some of that. He's going to know you've been changed. These dudes don't, black men don't want to go to these churches Because they see their wife come home an even bigger mouth monster. And they're like, oh, I don't want none of that. Like, she done become a bigger monster. But when they see this, you're going to win them over. You're going to save his soul. It says, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear, who's adorning, and look, and the older women should be encouraging the sisters to be this way, so they. But this is the exact opposite of what goes on. They tell you, oh no, you gotta keep running your mouth. You gotta get him in order. You gotta run that big old mouth like boom, 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 and destroy families. So that's how to do it, sis. Now the other thing was that, yeah, there's women who haven't had children. There's women who they love children, and this, that, and the other. And we're gonna talk. I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna go further into this, but that's why it's important to be around a wise leader who can guide and direct you. That's leading. It's guiding and directing. That's what leading is. Not lording. Not some leader who's gonna take your money and take advantage of you, but be around a wise leader who could guide and direct you. There's some of y'all out here that you don't know what your calling is, but a wise leader could see your calling. Some of you might not have a child. You might not have anything going on because the Most High is calling you to watch over children, to be a babysitter, or to open a business to give children love. Like that might be your calling.
Right.
To pour all this built up love out to young kids. So what you need to do is talk to wise leaders, and they will give you direction. Go ahead, Malachi. I'll hand it back.
That's good. That's exactly what you're saying, and what you're talking about the woman being quiet, because then it'll put burning coals of shame on his head, which will bring him into love. You know, she won't be clamorous or very argumentative. She'll be quiet, and what that will do to him, if he's in error, it will bring burning coals of shame on his head, and then it will bring him to repentance, because that's the thing that she wants him to do, to turn from foolishness or whatever and turn back to the covenant. So that's why it tells you separate from a while, right? Through prayer and fasting. So when you separate, you're actually quiet, right? And in that quietness, he can begin to hear and begin to bring himself back under subjection of the Ruach. And with that, you have won him over by quietness, sober-mindedness, you know, holy conversation, as talking nice to him, uplifting him, you know, with a soft words, speaking to him softly, you know, and then he begins to what? Speak to you softly. And therefore you'll start seeing that thing reboot, as the sister said earlier. She's trying to find out how to reboot a relationship. This is how you do it. By holy conversation, slow to speak and quick to listen. It's nothing like a man who has a woman that listens to him, because sometimes he wants to what? Speak to her, and with that word, it's going to wash her. That's why it says to what? Wash her by the washing of the word. He's going to speak to her, and she begin to what? Listen to him again, believing in him and trusting in his words.
All right. That's good. And I'm just checking out all your comments, because I'm going to tell you, man, I was like, boy, I'm working on a lot. I'm working on a lot of stuff. The labor's plenty, and the labor's, you know the way that verse goes, but we got some stuff that's in the pipeline that it's going to be game changers, man, because I'm not doing no organization. Like, I'm not trying to build nothing. I'm trying to build something that's going to edify the nation, the people. And we got that thing working. Okay.
I had a scripture too, whenever you get a chance.
Go ahead, bring it out.
John chapter 17.
Let me pull it up.
Okay.
All right, I got it up there.
John 17, start with verse 1. This is going back what we kind of start off in the beginning, as it tells us to love our wives as Mashiach loved the body, and telling the wives to be submissive in all things. And here's Mashiach with a prayer right here, an intercessory prayer. And it goes kind of what we've been talking about this morning. It starts with verse 1. It says, these words spake Yahushua and lifted up his eyes to heaven and said, Abba, the hour is come. Glorify thy son, that thy son also may glorify thee, as thou hast given him power over all flesh. See, this is what we have to understand. Our bodies don't belong to your body, belongs to your wife, and your wife's body belongs to you. And that's what the Messiah, he said, I have power over all flesh, that he should give eternal life to as many as thou hast given him. And this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true Elohim, and Yahushua HaMashiach, whom thou hast sent. This is how wives know the Most High, through their husbands. This is why our life is very, very important to our wives, because we show them the Holy One. Verse 4, I have glorified thee on the earth. Mashiach is intercessory. He says, I'm done. I did a great work. I've taken care of the body. I've taken care of the bride. I have finished the work which thou gavest me to do. And now, O Father, glorify thou me with thy own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was. I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou gavest me out of the world. The Most High has given us a wife. Our wife is a gift. He that finds a wife findeth a good thing, and find favor with the Most High. Thine they were, and thou gavest them me, and they have kept thy word. Now they have known that all things whatsoever thou hast given me are of thee. For I have given unto them the words which thou gavest me, and they have received them, and have known surely that I came out from thee. And they have what? Believed that thou didst send me. That's why it says, husband, lay down your life as Mashiach did for the body. He's explaining it right here. He is telling you that I did a great job. I took away their shame. I've saved them. I have redeemed them. This is what we do when we marry a woman. We're redeeming her out of the earth. We're taking her to ourselves, and we're presenting her before the Father as what? As a body without spot, without wrinkle, without blemish. We're purging her. We're renewing her mind. See? Verse 9, I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. And all mine are thine, and thine are mine, and I am glorified in them. And now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world. And I come to thee, Abba, keep through thine own name those whom thou hast given me, that they may be one as we are one. Echad. Echad. This relationship is echad. It's a mystery. It's the mystery, mishpachah. Marriage is a mystery. Mashiach is telling us that I'm over all flesh. I did my job. I laid down my life for her. Talking about the body. Talking about Israel. I did it. Now I'm presenting them before you. I'm finished. Now I'm presenting them to you, Father, without spot, without wrinkle, without blemish. I've laid down my life for them. I shed my blood. I pursued and persevered through many long nights with her, right? And we know the things that he went through with the disciples. They did not know nothing. He says, how long have I been with you? You don't know what I'm saying? See, he endured with them. He says what? There's many more things I want to share with you, but you can't understand. He dealt with them like a wife. Verse 12. While I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name. Those that thou gavest me, I have kept. That's why a man say, man, I lay down my life for my wife. Don't you mess with my wife. That's why we talk like that. and none of them is lost, but the son of perdition. See, if she wants to leave, let her go. See, but if she wants to stay, let her stay. Judas did the same thing. He didn't want to be a part of the bride. He didn't want to be a part of the body. He went out and what? Transgressed against the what? The leader of the Mashiach, or the anointed one. See, it's the same way with marriage. It is a mystery. This is what Shaul was trying to teach us. So once we understand the secret, wow, the enemy head is crushed. From the beginning, the enemy, Hasatan, the adversary, wanted to what? Destroy marriage.
Right.
When we get the secret, y'all, as Mashiach goes on, when you get a chance, read that whole chapter, John 17, we will see the mystery right here. So that's what I have. I just wanted to share that and show you what it means by laying down your life for your wife. And then you can present her. She has nowhere else to go.
Right. And y'all, what we're gonna do, hold on one sec, is I'm gonna do a couple things real quick. Brother Malachi Ben Israel, and he'll be on the show more, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm gonna do here is if you want to see more of his teachings, you go on Facebook, and his name is Malachi Ben Israel. You see it right there on the screen. I'll make it bigger. There we go. And you can see he does, see, there he is right there. He does regular teachings, be bringing out the word. You go over there on his page and check him out. Check out some of his teachings. And what we have right now, and you're hooking out, if you watching, or one of the leaders is watching for the spiritual combat prayer call. We're getting ready to get the prayer call started. We're gonna somebody will come in and let me know, but we're gonna stand up the prayer line. I'll read the flyer here. It says, join the spiritual combat prayer soldiers. And it's really not led by me. It's led by Ach Malachi, Ach Haji, Ach Yehukanan Yasha'Allah. You know, those are the leaders and the heads of that. They really have taken that on, and it's really been edifying. So yeah, but anyway, it's led by them, and I'm on there too. I'm part of the team, and it's a men-only prayer call immediately following this broadcast. So it's gonna officially start at 10. Once John, Yehukanan, or somebody else gives me confirmation that they've stood the line up, I'll let y'all know, and y'all can start calling in. But what you do is you just dial this number right here, this phone number, 605-468-8715, and then you just the access code is 533144. Put in that access code, and we get on there. It's a prayer line for the men. We chop it up, and then immediately after everybody's done praying, we fellowship on there. All right, let me see. The weed just told me something. Okay, so Daweed Yehuda, he's opening the prayer line up right now. So he's heading it up. All praises to the Most High.
Yeah.
So he's working on that now, and so that's for the men. And then afterwards, after we're done praying, we fellowship on there too. So we chop it up, talk man stuff, whatever, answer questions, whatever. So definitely get on there. For the women, Sister Only Love and Mother Malaka have the it says, sisters, join the Women of the Whirlwind prayer team for the Wailing Women prayer call. It's on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Okay? And in order to access it, what you need to do is email womenoftheworldwin@gmail.com, and they'll give you the dial-in access information. And I also want to remind any of y'all in the Jacksonville, Florida region, not in Jacksonville, in the region. If you're in the region, come on out next week on the 16th. We're going to have a Jacksonville Shabbat. It's going to be at the beach, weather permitting. If the weather's not lining up, we'll just have it somewhere else in the beach area. And we're going to chop it up out there, chop up the word, fellowship, and just enjoy each other. And then afterwards, I think we'll go somewhere and fellowship more, and just because the big thing is us getting to know each other, feel each other out, so we can really begin to come together and gather ourselves, because we are a nation not desired, like the word says. So definitely keep your eyes open for that information when it comes out. So yeah, definitely keep your eyes open for when that information comes out. Let me see what's going on here. Okay. So yeah, keep your eyes open for the Jacksonville Shabbat. I'll be putting a flyer out promoting it, and inviting you to come out and just fellowship with the Mishpachah. Hey, Malachi, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Man, praise the Most High Yah for this holy Shabbat, this holy set-apart day. Everybody has gathered. I pray that everyone's been blessed and that relationships be restored. And that's what we're living in the time of restoration, when the Ruach is restored. That's what all the apostles were waiting on. We're waiting on the time of restoration. And that restoration is the restoration of the Ruach. See? The restoration of the breath that we endure to the end. So we can what? Seek out these things that we're seeking out now. We can only do this by what? A restoring of the Ruach, right? You can't build a building if you don't have no breath, right? So we have to go ahead and receive, or prepare ourselves to receive, the restoration of the breath of Yah. So I want to just praise the Most High Yah for his breath, for his Ruach that he's restoring to Israel, to his people in these last times, that we can get back to healthy relationships, which is going to make our name go out throughout the earth. And then they'll know that I'm your Elohim and we're your people. When what? Relationships are restored to the fullness. Then we'll walk into what? In the blessings of our fathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. That's when we'll see what it means that Sarah called Abraham her Adonai, and she wasn't ashamed to do it. And also, Abraham, what? Trusted her, right? And delegated her to go into places too. He delegated her because he saw that she began to understand her Ezer Kenito, her duty as a woman, because he was called out to leave his mother and father, and she went with him as a helpmeet. And she began to see that, and how profitable it was when they went in different kingdoms and under different establishments, how everybody feared before them. Y'all remember that? When they went into different organizations, they began to fear before Abraham and his wife. They said, this is Abraham's wife. Get her out of here. Don't put a hand on her, right? They began to see her face and her countenance begin to show her her soberness, her sober-mindedness, her chasteness. And with that, it brought fear on the whole world. So that's what I want to say to you all. Continue to seek out these secrets, right? By prayer and supplications, that the Most High will pour these things upon you liberally and upbraid it not. And thank you, Brother Michael Israel, for, again, having the ruach to be able to build this thing, man, in the spirit.
Right.
And your wife too, for being that helper, to give you this zeal and this drive to do this, man.
Right.
You know, so I understand that I'm not just looking at you. I know who's really doing this. It brings life to your flesh,
right.
man. A woman who really understands this and understands that it's holy and it's set apart.
Right.
All right.
Right.
All right.
All right, y'all. So, you know, definitely keep an eye open this week. I'll be bringing out more information about, you know, upcoming events and stuff we're doing with spiritual combat and everything like that. And what we're going to do, I'm going to play a couple of these songs off of the We the People album by Ach Lorvins. And like I said, that first song on that album, Kumbaya, that's Malachi on there. You know, y'all have heard his voice, so now you'll hear. So anyway, with that said, y'all, I am gonna get this started up. Enjoy the music, and men, go ahead and get over there on the prayer line. We're gonna be shaking heavy, moving hard. We ain't gonna be moving left or right. We're gonna be coming down the middle. You know, whatever you need prayer for. So enjoy the song.
Kumbaya, 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 kumbaya.
Come by here, y'all. The time is an essence. They hear it in our message. You have revealed to us the blessing that comes after the testing. Toda, y'all. Toda, y'all. We are waiting on the Exodus, praying for the rest of us. It shall be greater than the first, for the captivity is the worst. Come by here, y'all. You are our strong tower, for we know not the hour. You are our power, our enemies you devour. Come by here, y'all. In the time of darkness, the world is heartless. Missing kids on carton. Who would have thought this? Come by here, y'all. You are in control. You got the nations on hold. The wicked must fold. The story is told from the times of old. Yaakov got next. You can find us in the text. We're the apple of your eye. And our God don't lie. They desire to consume us, but we did not die. Come by here, y'all. Come by here, y'all. Come by here, y'all. It's what we cry. You're the Elohim of our Father. From on high. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Save your people.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Please save your people. Save your people. Please save your people. We cry to you. Yeah. Please save your people. We cry out to you. Please save your people. Please save your people. Please save your people. It's really going down. It's about to go down, down. It's about to go down. We the people. Shema. Israel. We the people. Shema, Shema. Israel. We the people. Shema. Israel. We the people. Shema, Shema. Israel. We the people. Shema. Israel. We the people. Shema, Shema. Israel. We the people. Shema. Israel. We the people. Shema, Shema. Israel. We We the people of the book. I stay humble, I ain't even boasting. I'm just here telling you facts. No more secret, it's gotta be spoken. We out here living a lie. 3/5, but they say that we equal. So put your hands up in the sky. Represent for the chosen people. Melanin, melanin, yeah, we got a lot of it. I can see the fear in them when they look at it, lacking understanding, cause it's their nature. They don't fear God, but concerned about some glaciers. They always wanna justify, define themselves not guilty. Pride so puffed up high, living in iniquity. We the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel. We the people that they took. I stay humble, I will not be shaken. My people is starting to wake up. Their mind scramble, need a shake up. They rewriting history, whitewashing images, forgery. It's all a conspiracy, crafted counsel from our enemies. They stole our identities, done away with our heritage. Had us working in the fields, broken, we can't get no settlement. So cruel, they took it too far on them people that resemble Kadar. Perpetually, they really hate us, but we quickly coming out of our haters. We the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel.
Shouts out to my people. Miserable to straight hallelujahs. 400 years, better let it move ya. Messiah coming, better let it soothe ya. Whoever knew we would be great. On the slave ships, we were stowaways. Never made sense that we were throwaways, but it makes sense we hit fadeaways. Swish. We serving the ultimate power. The Most High, get them hands high.